Hey, what's up? It's Mac. I'm happy to be here, whatever. Look at this hat. Look at me in this hat. What is going on here? I've had so many people tell me, hey, Mac, you've got the perfect personality for a bucket hat. Okay. So I tried to take a risk. Okay. I didn't think I was a bucket hat girl. I'm normally a rope hat girl. Pretty specific hat shape is what I'm into. I'm at Timmy's this morning. I love Timmy's. Shout out Timmy's. I see this Timbits hat. Perfect, I think. It's perfect because I like to have a location-specific hat for where I'm filming. Happy to be here. And people have been telling me I should rock a bucket hat. Okay, so this is what I get. What is this? Do I have an abnormally large head? Because it didn't say kid's hat. Pretty sure this is supposed to be an adult hat, but this is what I end up with. I can't even get it over the dome. This is it pulled down correctly. This can't be right. This can't be right. I look like a gardener in a bad way. And normally gardeners I think are sick, but I mean, I don't know if the mic picked that up, but it was snug on the dome. It's rough. Should I keep wearing it? I don't know. I feel very nervous about it. I feel very embarrassed. I was really hoping that this was going to be a new thing, that I was going to be able to start incorporating some bucket hats into the wardrobe, into the repertoire. Turns out, absolutely not. Absolutely not, unless my head shrinks. Or maybe I did just get a really small hat. I'm not super sure. I'm not really sure what's going on, but this is tough. I was really excited about this. This is tough. I was feeling embarrassed before I even put it on. I don't really know why though, because I used to rock a fedora back in the day very confidently. Very confidently. And I thought it looked great. I think hindsight probably didn't. But at the time, loved it. Confident. Now, I'm putting on a bucket hat. Feels wrong. But I do agree. I do think I have a personality for a bucket hat, but I don't know what's going on. Is it supposed to sit just atop your head? Am I supposed to flip it up like this? Because if I flip it up like this, I feel like a little boy. And that's okay. But I don't know. There's just something. Is it the wrong size? Did I buy a kid's hat? Was I handed a kid's hat? Did the person at Tim Hortons look at me and think, she's absolutely not buying this bucket hat for herself. She doesn't have the face for it. She must be buying it for one of her child's. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I feel nervous about this. I feel uncomfortable. I feel like I can't possibly be wearing it right. I can't possibly be looking good like this, which is a bummer because it says Timbits on it, and I'm such a Tim Hortons fan. I am in Canada right now. Love Canada. Canada is one of my favorite places on the planet to be. I'm normally on the west side. Right now I'm in Ontario. Meeting up with old Slicky Ricky. Tricky Ricky is what I should have said because that would have been more correct. Nevertheless, love Canada, love what they've got going on here. Big Turk chocolate bar, my favorite, best in the game. Not enough people talking about Big Turk chocolate bars. I can't believe it hasn't made its way to the US yet. I have to stock up every time I come here, and that's fine. I'm happy to do it. But absolutely unbelievable. It hasn't made its way down south. Tim Hortons, they just opened one in Austin. I was there the night it opened. I think I got there at like 4 a.m. and I had like I can't remember what time it opened, maybe 8 a.m. That seems too late for a coffee place. Either way, I was in my car for hours waiting in line. They had a pretty good deal, actually. I think it was like the first 100 people got like free coffee for a year, free Timmy's coffee for a year. Pretty good deal. I was not among the 100. I was told that those people waited like, actually forget it. So I would just be making something up. But I think it was like over 12 hours, I'm pretty sure. And so my like 3 was absolutely nothing. But whatever, I was there. I'm a big Timmy's fan. I'm a big Turk fan. Also love the mountains. Those are not over here. That's okay. Went to, I believe it actually wasn't Lake Ontario. I believe maybe it was Lake Ontario. Either way, I went to a beach the other day. Beautiful. It felt like an ocean beach. But the thing about Ontario, it's not on the ocean. So that was pretty cool, pretty tricky. Here in Picton, here to see Rick. Allie and I are getting him under the covers later. We got to talk about that big win of his. But let's talk about that episode, man. Best one, best out of 10, number 1. That was absolutely the best episode. It was so good. It was so well done. It was so cinematic. It was so dramatic. I loved how much we got to see. Like just the intro for each of the last 3 players at the very beginning, the first like 5 minutes of the episode, incredible. It was so beautiful. There were twists, there were turns, there were trivia. I'm sure there were other things that started with T as well, taxis. Yeah, I thought it was an amazing episode. It was tough to watch. It was tough to watch as a friend of Biggie. Um, that was sad. I mean, I felt emotional multiple times during this episode, and that's that's the only episode I have felt that way, including during my episode where I was literally crying and remembering how much I was crying. I don't think I cried during my episode. I didn't cry. I did not cry last night. But it was sad. It was hard to watch, um, in a good way. Like, oh man. But then also you got to think like we told him multiple times, Rick does not have your back, and I get it. I get it. Rick's a good guy. Rick's a sweet guy. You want to trust him. He's telling you this sob story. He's telling you all these things. You feel like you know him. You feel like you can trust him. And just because um, three of your closest friends on the bus are constantly telling you, "Hey, probably don't listen to him." Actually, I didn't tell him that very much. I think I told him once, and I don't even think I was like, "Don't trust Rick." I think I was like, "Don't tell Shane Salzberg because Rick's probably going to tell Rick, or Rick's probably going to tell Pete." Um, I don't know. Would have thought that at some point probably would have picked up on Rick being involved in each person's elimination in an indirect way through Biggie. But either way, it's tough. You don't want to believe it because he's got this relationship with Rick that none of us had. He spent so much time with Rick, and it's kind of crazy. You can spend hours. You can spend every single night talking to a person and just getting to know them, and then it not being true. And not to say that Rick was everything out of his mouth was not true. I'm sure it was, and I'm sure they had some very genuine conversations. But I think the friendship, friendship's not the right word because I do think they were friends. I do think that was meant. But the "I've got your back, you've got mine" sentiment not necessarily there, which we saw in the pine cones last episode. I think we've seen kind of multiple times, but nevertheless, it's very sad. I feel out of breath talking about it, and that's on me. I can kind of see a small reflection of me in the hat, and that's also been distracting this whole time. Should I take it off? I don't know about this. I don't know about this, guys. I also don't know how to sit. I normally have a desk in front of me, and this just kind of feels too casual for you guys. I don't know. Feet, you gotta pay for that. Um, I think I'll sit like this. I think I'll sit like this. Back to the episode, or backing up in the episode, helicopter ride. Um, that was super cool. The thing is, that they did take a 5-hour helicopter ride from Monaco to London. And 5 hours would be, I think, straight shot. And I don't know, can helicopters go that far? I think they would have to stop and refuel. Imagine, listen, I wasn't there, so I have no idea what went on. 5 hours. I ChatGPT'd 5 hours. That's where I'm getting 5 hours from. I don't actually know helicopter speeds. And ChatGPT told me between 4 and 6.5 hours for a helicopter ride from Monaco to London. And that includes a fuel stop somewhere midway because helicopters don't really go that distance. And you're telling me they were goggled up that entire time? I don't think that's what happened. But it looked really cool. The shots looked amazing. Helicoptering over London and seeing all that would have been so sick. The show did a lot of really cool things that I think are like probably kind of understated just from the perspective of like having to film, like being in the London Eye, just like on your own, not that cool, right? It's a big Ferris wheel. It's kind of cool, I guess. You get a nice view of London. I've never done it, but I imagine it's like decently cool. We've got a big Ferris wheel in Texas, not as big as the London Eye, even though Texas does say everything is bigger there. I don't think our Ferris wheel is bigger. Actually, I'm gonna check that. Is Texas Ferris wheel bigger than London Eye? No, it's not. It's about half the size. Also, not as good of a view in Texas over at Fair Park. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes. Just from like a filming perspective, the fact that they had to, I'm assuming, rent out the entire Ferris wheel, like that's so cool. They had to rent out the top of Big Ben. That's so cool. Like they did so many things that I think like just had I not been on the show, I would not have really been paying attention to the fact that they had to like clear out these areas and get permits or whatever. Back in Venice, they had to clear out the plaza or whatever to have the guys walk through. There's normally tons and tons and tons of people there to clear it out. Like, I don't know, just from a filming perspective, I thought that all of that was really cool. I thought this episode was really cool. I'm not a huge fan of London, to be honest, just kind of a big city. It has some cool things, I've never seen it by helicopter. I've also never seen it via London Eye. So I think both of those options would have been really cool. I've never seen London from above, basically, is what I'm saying. And I think those both would have been really cool. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked at this point. Let's talk about the clues. Okay, so they had this little game of trivia, um, which actually, before we even get into the trivia, let's talk about those paintings. I wish the camera had dwelled on each of them a little longer, and I'm only saying that because I wish I could have seen what I looked like for a little bit longer. I got a baby glimpse of myself and didn't really look like me all that much, I thought. Didn't really look like me. I mean, you could tell it was me, but it wasn't I did not pose for that picture. What I think happened, and I'm only saying this because this is what Rick said because he got to see them for a lot longer, is that they were like the location we were eliminated versions of us. And so like mine was like an Austrian version of me, which is why I think maybe I had a funny hat on. Not this funny. Not this funny. I bet it fit a little bit better, but I'll never know. I wish I could get a hold of that picture. I would love to have that big portrait of myself in my home, but I don't. But yeah, I would have loved to see those pictures a little bit more. Super cool that they did that. I can't imagine what they were thinking when they were walking in. I don't know. I don't know what I would have thought actually if I walked in and saw pictures of all of my eliminated cast members. I think I would have been like, "Oh shoot, hope my face isn't up there next." Anyway, let's get into the trivia. Um, Really interesting game. I really liked how this one was done. Also, I thought that room was so beautiful, like such a cool cinematic shot. It was so beautiful, all the paintings, blah 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 blah. The trivia questions in particular, I think I knew all of them. However, I did not know the tiebreaker. I can't believe it was one island. That was crazy. I think like yeah, I haven't talked to production about any of this, but I can only imagine how hyped they were about the fact that it got, there was a tie and then the tiebreaker was that close. Like, I bet they were like, oh my gosh, this is incredible TV. They're loving it. They're loving it. Poor Biggie, um, could have won if he'd moved himself up. I think Peter realized that. I don't know. I don't know if he did. I'm assuming he didn't know that that was the last question because he's smart enough to do, basic math +3 versus -2 situation. Um, but God, that's such a bummer. I can't imagine the gut punch making the decision to pull Peter back and then hearing the clock go and then realizing like, "Oh, shoot, I could have just been in the finale if I had just chosen slightly differently." I think Peter clocked it because Peter was like, "No, you already chose. Don't give him another shot." Whatever. Um, Kind of mind. I don't. Did Peter get? I think Peter got one right. I think Rick got them all right, and I think Biggie got all but like two right or something like that. Really interesting game. Crazy nobody moved Rick. Crazy nobody moved Rick. I get it. Both guys. Well, Peter obviously would do anything to save Rick because that's the only reason Peter was there. As we can see by the fact that he got 0 questions right. Sorry, he got one question right, I believe. I think it was Munich Monk. Um, and then Biggie, I think, made the smart decision to try to bring Peter back with him because that was really his only shot, knowing that both of them are going to be pulling him back. And God, it was so close. One island, I can't believe that. But anyway, I thought that was a really cool challenge. I thought that was really like just, it was so simple, but it was so beautiful, and there was so, um, I don't know, much excitement. I don't know. I really like that challenge. Whatever, I'm rambling. And then the next challenge, I thought it was so cool. You know, of course, you got to ride a taxi around. That's so classic London and the black cabbies. Um, those clues were really interesting too. There was one I don't think I knew, but I also didn't have the map in front of me, so I hope that had I seen the map, I would have gotten. But just knowing locations in London, I think I would have gotten them all except for one. I can't remember which one that one. Doesn't matter. I'm only saying that because people have asked me already if I knew answers to clues. I'm not trying to brag and say like, "Oh, I knew everything." I'm just trying to answer that question, okay? I promise, guys. I promise. Um, but so cool. The final clues to Big Ben, those were pretty tough. I did not know that Big Ben was called the Elizabethan Tower. So the picture of Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth, that would have kind of thrown me a little bit. The hourglass and the Benny Franklin, I think I would have known. I think I would have been able to put that together. But I don't know. I would have been really confused by the Elizabeth part. And I think, I get what Peter's saying a little bit. Like Tower of London, like that's where the crown jewels are. She's got a lot of jewels that are kept there. I and they're really old. Maybe that's how you reason the hourglass. And I don't know what I would have thought about the U.S. currency being there. But, when you're in that moment and you've got like a minute to make a decision, like it's easy to convince yourself of anything. And so I thought both were good answers. Rick being up at the top of the tower, God, I can't imagine that. Like, I don't know if you can go up there as a tourist, but being there basically alone, probably plus a cameraman, God, that was so cool. I was jealous watching this episode, I'm not gonna lie. Wish I'd been there just because it looked so cool, like, that was my thing most of the show and, like, why I was so sad to be eliminated, like, I cared about the money for sure, right? Of course, like, who wouldn't want $250,000, obviously, but just, like, I talked about this in another episode, like, y you can't replicate these experiences, and this one just looked so cool, like, racing around London in cabs, trying to get to different locations, and, like, renting out the London Eye, being, one of 2 people on the London Eye, probably more like one of 6 people, because I imagine each pod had, like, a producer and a cameraman in there, possibly even more, but nevertheless, like, that's so cool. Being atop Big Ben, no other people around, that would've been so cool, like, it just seemed like such a high adrenaline race. I don't know. It would've been really cool. I would've been freaking out in the cabs, let me tell you. "Dude, you gotta drive faster, you gotta drive faster." I wonder, and maybe we can ask Rick this under the cover, Allie and I are filming under the covers later with old Ricky, like, I wonder to what extent the cab driver's route actually played a role in it, like, if that was, like, really part of it, because I would've been freaking out, like, "Dude, why did you take that turn?" Or, I mean, "I'll just get out and run, like, we're so close, you're stuck in traffic, I'm just gonna run, it'll be faster." I don't know. So, I don't know the extent to which that played into it, but I would've been calm. I don't like to yell at people, so hopefully I wouldn't have, but man, you get the adrenaline, you got $250,000 and this guy's not driving fast enough? I don't know. It would've been tough. I'm feeling nervous again about my hat. It just doesn't fit on my head, and there's no way that this is correct. Like, I think it's supposed to kinda sit down a little bit more. Anyway, whatever. I watched the episode last night with Rick. It was super cool. We rented out a theater, and there was a ton of people there. Rick's family, Allie and I were with him, and I don't know, it was really cool watching it. I had mixed feelings about Rick during the show. I'll be honest about that. And Rick, I know you're watching this, and so I'm gonna be honest about that. I think you already knew that. I think you're a great person in real life. On the show, thought you were a liar, didn't trust you. I felt that way starting episode 2. Um, but getting to know Rick after the show has been filmed, and he's no longer lying. He's telling the truth about things. Really great guy, really fun guy. Allie and I also went birding with him. Allie, I believe, will drop that video at some point. I'm not sure when. But really cool guy, really fun guy, great family. We went to the beach with him, gone out to eat with him, done some cool things. I am curious, and again, we'll have to get him under the covers for this, because I know he was lying about some things, and I'm actually still not clear on what things was the truth and what things was not the truth, were not the truth. Um, so we'll hopefully get to the bottom of that later today. But it's cool. We had a really cool cast. Like, Allie and I have gotten to see everybody except for Josh, Janae, and Peter, and that has nothing to do with the 3 of them as people. That has to do with the fact that they have very busy schedules. But I believe I've spoken to everybody except for Pete. Actually, no, I've had like a "Hope you're doing great" quick conversation with Pete, but everybody else I've had slightly more substantive conversations with. Um, Everybody's so great. Like, it's cool. We're all cool with each other. Like, it's been so cool to see each other. And like I talked about another the episode I was eliminated, like, this is such an experience that nobody else can relate to, that nobody else has ever been through. And so, like, getting to stay close with most of the cast um has been really cool. Like, there's a few people I still talk to every day. Obviously, Allie, I talk to every day. I talk to Biggie a lot, talk to Rick a decent amount. Rachel lives in Austin now, so I see her all the time, talk to her. Um, like, I don't know, but I think we got really lucky. I don't know anything about other reality shows in terms of how close the cast remains after the show, but this has been just a really unique experience with really, really cool people. And I'm really sad that it's over. Like, watching the finale was really sad. I think part of it was just because it was like, dang, that's seeing Biggie all ripped up, that's tough. Not getting to be there for the finale, that's tough. That's a bummer. I wish it had been me. But even just like, dang, like, now this experience is over, and this was like the coolest thing I've ever done. And now, like, now it's done. Now it's not on the TV anymore. I mean, you can still watch it on Peacock, forever, maybe. I don't know. But now it's over, and it's just kind of like, dang, like, this has been like the biggest thing in my life for like the past year. We filmed it in August, September, one of those, and now it's the very end of July. It's been almost an entire year, maybe 10 months. I can't actually remember when we filmed it, but this has been like the number one thing on my mind every single day, and now it's done. And so now who knows what's going to happen? I mean, I do know some things that are going to happen. Like I said, last episode, Allie and I are about to go to Europe and retrace our steps. So I'm super pumped about that. So we don't have to let it go just yet. But I don't know. I'm really sad that it's over. This has been the coolest thing I've ever done. I was really nervous for it to come out because I had no idea how any of it would land, how any of it would be portrayed. But I'm pleased. Um, I got some amazing things out of it. You know, I got emotions out of it. That's really cool. I got a girlfriend out of it. I fell in love out of it. I got some really amazing friends out of it. I mean, these people like feel like family. Like it feels like I went through like one of the biggest things in my life with these people on some bus somewhere in Europe. Like that's so cool. I've now got a really cool story in my back pocket that I can bring up randomly. I got a cool fun fact about myself, good lore. Um, and yeah, I don't know. This has been truly a life-changing experience. It's been super cool. I'm so happy I did it. If you ever get the chance to be on a reality TV show, do it. If you ever see a casting call on TikTok, it might not be a scam. Apply for it. Who knows? Like I was literally a nobody, had like no following on Instagram, had no reason to be cast for this show necessarily, um, but just was myself and got on it and now I'm wearing this silly hat at this weird boutique hotel in some small town in Ontario, Canada. You never know where life's gonna take you. Super cool, but super happy. Sad that it's over. But excited to see what all comes from it. Like I'm hoping I get to continue doing some cool things with some cool people. Gonna continue to travel. Continue to do happy to be here. Hopefully, I don't know why I said hopefully. That's 100% in my control. So I will keep doing it. But at this point, I'm just rambling. But I'm really sad that it's over. But it was the coolest thing that's ever happened, and I'm so glad I did it, and I'm so glad that I got so much from it. Like I really do feel like a winner. Like yeah, I don't have $250,000 in my pocket, whatever. But like I'm so much happier. I just feel so much lighter. I got such amazing things out of it that could have never come from anything else. I couldn't have therapied my way into these emotions. I couldn't have I would have never started dating Allie if not for the show. I actually think I would have. I think I would have found her. I do think she's my soulmate, so I think I would have found her in some other way. Like I don't know. I don't know. I think I would have gotten there. I hope I would have gotten there. But like for it to all happen this way, so incredibly cool, and I'm so incredibly lucky. Um, and yeah, I'm just so happy. But again, now I'm rambling. This is how the end of these episodes typically go. I just kind of ramble because I don't really know how to finish them, but I will. So if you've watched this long, thank you so much. That's so nice. Please subscribe, please like, please comment. If you've got any questions, the next Happy to Be Here episodes are not going to have any show recaps in them. They're going to be just kind of other things. But I do have a lot of exciting things going on, so they will still be good, I promise. But yeah, please like, please subscribe, please let me know what's up. And thank you so much for watching. That's so nice. Oh, also, please tell me how you feel about this hat. Am I not wearing it right? I don't know.